Hi there, I'm Colin and this is the Action Figure Resource video channel, the place for all your action figure news, reviews, tutorials and guides. Don't forget to subscribe below, click on the bell icon to be informed of all my future videos and smash that like button. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Toy Biz's Spider-Man, the new animated series Wave 8 figures that were also titled as Spider Wars.
ActionFigureResource.com. Yesterday's toys, today's treasures.
By the middle of 1996, Toy Biz stopped putting out unnamed series of Spider-Man figures and gave each new line its own title and distinctive header. This made things easier for retailers to reorder the figures when restocking and for collectors trying to catalogue their collections and to determine what figures they were missing and still needed to buy. As a result, Spider-Man the New Animated Series Wave 8, released in 1996, was officially titled as Spider Wars. The premise for this series was that Spider-Man and Doctor Strange teamed up to save Black Cat from the evil clutches of Hydroman. Probably in order to cut costs, Toy Biz used the same backing cards as the previous releases, but the series title was printed onto a strip of card that was inserted into the front of the figure's bubble, rather than redesigning the cards with the title printed directly onto the backing card. There were 5 figures released in the Spider Wars line. Cyborg Spiderman with high-tech armor. There were 2 variants of this figure released. Black Cat with Cat Scratching Crossbow. Doppelganger with Living Alien Spider Trap. Doctor Strange with Mystic Morphin Cape. And Hydroman with Aquatic Arsenal. The artwork on the packaging was of Toy Biz's usual high standards, with the Spider-Man animated logo on the top left hand of the card, and on the right hand side the artwork of the featured character. The bottom half of the card was taken up by the bubble containing the actual figure and its accessories. The top half of the back of the card featured the character's bio on the left and a diagram with instructions for the character's accessories and action feature on the right. The bottom half of the card featured the other figures and any vehicles in the line. The first figure we're going to look at in this line is the Cyborg Spiderman with tech armor. There were 2 versions of this figure released. The Cyborg Spidey was a pretty cool looking figure when fully geared up and on display. This figure resembles a battle-damaged Spider-Man who has been quickly patched together with stitches and all. His spider costume is severely damaged, ripped and torn in several places. His left arm has been replaced with an articulated cyborg arm. When his bandana is removed, his high-tech armor can be slipped off over his head to be removed. When attached, it rests on his shoulder. The high-tech armor has loads of articulation on its many attachments. He also has a removable bandana and eye patch, and a patchwork of stitches across his body, arms and legs. His spider suit is torn on the left leg to reveal his knee, and his left leg has been bandaged up. His high-tech gear has a double spring-loaded rocket launcher on his left shoulder that comes with launchable rockets. On his right arm is a long mechanical arm with a pincer instead of a hand and a secondary rocket launcher. Cyborg Spidey has 7 points of articulation, with hinged joints on the elbows, knees and ankles, and pegged articulation on the shoulders, hips and a swivel jointed head. Toy Biz released two versions of the Cyborg Spiderman, one with thick stitches and his bandana tail pointing to the left, and the other with thin stitches and his bandana tail pointing to the right. Both are thought to have the same number produced, therefore they generally sell for the same price. Mint on the card, the Cyborg Spiderman sells for around the $35, loose for between $5 to $15. Next is Doctor Strange with his Mystic Morphin cape. The paintwork on Doctor Strange is very good, with little bleeding or overlapping. He is wearing black trousers and a blue shirt with rolled up sleeves, yellow hands and a yellow sash around his waist. The paintwork overall is very stylish, well applied and fairly accurate to that of the cartoon character, except for his shirt, which was purple rather than blue on this figure. But the blue shirt here probably suits him better. He also has a large removable red cape with a large extravagant collar that billows out behind him. His hair is black and slicked back in a smooth vampire style, and he has a 1920 style moustache, giving him a very antiquated look. For an early 90s figure, without real body scan technology, the sculpting on this figure is also fairly accurate and bears a close resemblance to the cartoon version. The head sculpt especially has been made with very detailed features. This figure has ball jointed and pinned articulation on his shoulders, but there is no articulation on his elbows, and he also has pinned articulation at the hips and hinged articulation on the knees and pinned articulation on his ankles. He also has swivel articulation on the waist and head, but due to his cloak, the head joint tends to be very stiff. For accessories, he has a plastic mystical orb with a morphing demon's head inside. Mint on the card, this figure sells for between $8 to $20 and an average value of $20. Loose he goes for between $2 to $10. Next we have Black Cat with her cat scratching crossbow. Black Cat has pretty basic paintwork, being a solid, sleek black cat with pure white fur boots and gauntlets and a thick snow white mane. Black Cat's head sculpting achieves a good resemblance to the cartoon character and has some good detail. Her body sculpt, although exceptionally good, slightly overemphasizes her female curves, giving her a more seductive look than in the cartoon, with a plunging neckline on her catsuit. But hey, who's complaining? For accessories, Black Cat had a briefcase that opened to reveal it was full of jewels and gold coins. She also has a cat grappling gun which fires out a grappling hook which is attached to string to enable her to climb walls and buildings. On the downside of this figure, Black Cat had very little articulation, with only hinge joints on the hips and shoulders. Mint on the card, this figure sells for as little as $1 to as much as $20, but an average price of around the $8 mark. Loose, she sells for between $5 and $10. The next figure is Doppelganger with living alien spider trap. The Doppelganger Spiderman was a hideously mutated Spiderman with 6 arms resembling the earlier man-spider figure. These arms were fully articulated with ball joints on the body and hinged elbows. The paintwork on his body was the usual red on blue of Spider-Man, which was generally well applied except on the head sculpt, where it looks a bit sloppy and rushed. However, the head sculpt itself is well sculpted with a lot of detail. As well as the articulation on his 6 arms, he also had pin-jointed knees, ball-jointed hips and knees, as well as a pivot joint on his head to allow it some movement up and down. The only accessory he comes with is a large oversized Venus fly trap, which would open to swallow any adversaries. There was a lever inside the plant, so when a figure was pushed or placed inside it, it would trigger this lever, causing the plant's jaws to snap closed, trapping the villain inside. Mint on the card, this figure sells for between $15 to $28, with an average value of $20. Loose, he sells generally for around the $20 mark. The last figure we're taking a look at is the Hydraman with Aquatic Arsenal. This figure had a fairly basic colour scheme with a solid black t-shirt and blue trousers, which were different in colour to his trousers in the cartoon, which were a more turquoise colour. Hydroman in the cartoon was quite a creepy looking guy with a very evil grin, which is accurately depicted on this head sculpt. The figure itself is well sculpted and proportioned in keeping with the cartoon character, even down to his hairstyle. Overall, the paintwork and sculpting bear an extremely good resemblance to the cartoon character. Instead of arms, Hydraman has 2 semi-translucent blue water fists. His right arm has a small pipe threaded through it, which can be used to shoot water out of, with the use of his accessory. Hydraman has swivel articulation on his arms and head, but ball-jointed hips and hinged articulation on his knees. Hydraman's accessories are a large water cannon that he can hold in his left hand to shoot water. He also had a water pump that fitted into a hole on his back, and when pumped would shoot water out of his right arm through the pipe that was threaded through it. He also came with a water stand base which he fits onto, and had wheels so that he could glide across the floor as if walking on water. Mint on the card, this figure sells for between $1 to $25, with an average value of around $10. Loose, he sells for $6 to $12 and an average value of $10. This was one of Toy Biz's best series in this line of figures, with each of the characters displaying great paintwork and sculpting, giving them a true likeness to their cartoon counterparts. Please note that all prices quoted on this video are for information only and are not an offer or solicitation to buy them. When researching the prices, I check both online and offline auction sites and retail sites in order to get the most accurate and up-to-date prices at the time of filming. However, the price can vary quite a lot depending on whether the figure is in mint condition, loose or mint on the card, and whether it has all its accessories or not. Please check my guide and video on how to value your figures in order to be able to get the most accurate prices for your figures. Don't forget to subscribe below. Click on the bell icons to be notified of all my future videos, and smash that like button.
ActionFigureResource.com. Yesterday's toys, today's treasures.